But I do want to start my show talking about a player that can't beat Kansas City, at least when it matters, Josh Allen. So Josh Allen won the MVP last night, even though Lamar Jackson beat him head-to-head in the regular season. Lamar outplayed him on that game. Lamar had better stats. Lamar had a better passer rating. And Josh Allen won. And I have absolutely no problem with it, because I don't think 20 years from now we'll be saying, man, do you remember the year they gifted Josh Allen the MVP? Listen, there's two reasons why I would have given it to Josh Allen narrowly. Number one is, when Derrick Henry arrived in Baltimore, defenses playing the Ravens had to make choices and concessions. And many times it felt like the key to that team was not Lamar Jackson. It was Derrick Henry. And defensive coordinators had to make choices with the number 2 rushing running back in the NFL. In most years, Derrick Henry would have led the NFL in rushing, if not for Saquon Barkley's all-time year. As much as Josh Allen got support from James Cook, he was the 16th leading rusher in the league. Receiving core, they lost Stephon Diggs. Yet he won 10 of his last 12, 1 pick after December 1st, I think. And again, when you play the Bills, there is one and one mission only, and that is to stop Josh Allen. When you played the Ravens this year, some teams made the choice to concentrate on Derrick Henry. That, of course, opened things up a bit for Lamar Jackson. And the second thing is, not all MVPs look the same, and we all know that awards are subjective. I mean, Aaron Rodgers has 4 of these puppies. Tom Brady's got 3. There was a year that Joel Embiid of Philadelphia was gifted an MVP over Jokic because people felt Jokic had won 2. He shouldn't win 3 straight before the Nuggets even have a title. They did later that year. And Westbrook got an MVP because it was a good story. He had a bunch of triple-doubles. That doesn't mean you win a lot of games, but it does mean something. And KD had dumped him, and it felt like, man, this poor he's stranded on the OKC island. So they gave him one. And I think we get to a point, 7 years of Josh Allen. Since he entered the league, this has mostly been the powerhouse offense. And he has been so great for so long, it was time. I think back to one of my favorite movies of all time is Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese was the director. He did not win an Oscar for it. I think it's his best piece of art, his best piece of work. He didn't get it. And he'd been doing great movies forever. And so he came out with The Departed. Very good movie. I don't think it's an all-timer. I like it. Top 30. Goodfellas top 3. And they gave him the Oscar for it. It was just too good for too long. And if you really boil it down, and I know you don't want awards to be like that, and Lamar's got better stats. They all look different. They come in different shapes and sizes. Sometimes it's the story plus the stats. But if you look at some numbers, he's the first player ever, 5 straight seasons of 40-plus touchdowns. And it's just recently that he actually got a really elite weapon. James Cook, that's their elite weapon. And for the record, he was 16th in the NFL in rushing. So in 7 years, he's got the most wins. He's got the most total touchdowns. He's got the most total yards through any NFL player, including Patrick Mahomes' first 7 years. It was just time. Time for Josh Allen to win the MVP, his first. Nobody is going to feel 20, 30 years from now, this was gifted. Like Scorsese, it's time. So I know it's Super Bowl week, but the NBA does have its trade deadline during Super Bowl week. I don't think it's the best time to have it. I would have it next week. I'd move it, just like the NFL has moved free agency. Teams all the time alter their calendar. If I was the NBA and wanted more publicity, I'd do it next week. But this week there have been big trades, and nobody's benefited more than LeBron James. Last night he had 42 points. It's the most points ever for an old guy at 40 in the NBA. I don't know what it is. I think I do. But he is 40, and LeBron, like Bill Belichick, has a new relationship. And let's just say he's got a bounce in his step. He is 3-0 since the Luka trade. And I think we forget this about the greats. When you're great, things can come easier. Now, I'm not insinuating it's not hard work. But for a Mahomes and an MJ and a LeBron and a Messi, there's boredom. There's monotony. There's tedium. LeBron's played in over 1,500 regular season games. LeBron has played 3.5 seasons of just playoff games. So this season, even with AD and Austin Reeves and J.J. Redick, it kind of honestly felt like a train to nowhere. They weren't athletic enough. They weren't dynamic enough. Anthony Davis didn't really want to play the 5. He'd rather play the 4. Dalton Connect's fun but can't defend. They didn't have enough shooters. They didn't have enough defenders. And then Luka and Mark Williams happened, and the Lakers are younger. They're more dynamic, and they feel like they could win an NBA championship. I'll still favor Boston, but I think they match up pretty well with OKC. And I think LeBron's ride into the sunset in the last 3 to 4 days has taken a sharp U-turn, and I think he's more engaged. He's always been committed. He's more inspired. And I think when you're an all-time great, there's this work ethic to become legendary and iconic. But, I mean, when Michael Jordan's playing the new Raptors who just got a new franchise, you think he's as inspired as he is playing the Celtics or the Pistons? The answer is no. And I felt like LeBron, not that he was coasting, not that he's not committed, but it shows you, when inspired, what LeBron looks like. And, it's, I think, a lot of times for LeBron, and Brady was like this too, but in football, you get 1 game a week. In basketball, you're on a road trip to Memphis, you go to Orlando, on the way back we face Houston. They just all mush together. But LeBron is playing, I mean, this is the best basketball LeBron has played in the last couple of weeks. It's year 22. It feels like year 12. Now, he's not going to do it back-to-back. He's not going to be as good defensively. He's not going to chase you down and block those shots off the backboard like he did in the first 6 years in the league. But, dude, last night, he was not only inspired. That was the best Steph has played all year. He's averaging 28 and 9 and shooting the lights out in January and February. And the last 3 games, capped by last night, have been absolutely special. Again, like Belichick, new relationship, got a little bounce. One guy's wearing the red jacket, one guy Laker gold, but it's different. It feels absolutely different. And J-Mac knows that I appreciated Luka's talent, but I was always a little bit of a pushback on the conditioning and the defense, which Dallas eventually was as well. But I will say it again, this idea, it's almost like LeBron is showing off for Luka. He's like, hey, bro, you can say you're the best player, and you may be the best player, but this is what I can do. This is LeBron. It's Lakers Extreme Makeover Edition.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Uncle Colin. Subscribe here to get the latest from the herd, including exclusive behind-the-scenes videos and more, wherever you may be, however you may be watching. Thanks again for making us part of your day.